Hey everybody, it's Greg, Detroit's Love Guru, with another episode of the Art of Relationship show. Gonna be asking you, are you easy to love? Are you easy to like in your relationship? And about self-reflection. We're gonna get into this right after this, so don't go anywhere, okay, people? Stay tuned. Hey everybody, welcome back. This is the Art of Relationship show. Today we're going to be talking about, jumping right into it, about, are you easy to love? Are you easy to like in your relationship? A lot of people look at, that you keep going from relationship to relationship, or breaking up, that type of avenue. And it's hard, right? Because there's a difference between self-bashing. We're no good. I'm not lovable. I'm not all this stuff. In the other extreme, it's always everybody else's fault. Okay. I want you to do a realistic check. Okay. Not bashing yourself, but looking at, are you really easy to love? And there's some people that own it. Greg, I know I'm not easy to love, and they own it. And they might not want to do anything about it to improve or to evolve, right? Again, it's up to each individual, each couple. Again, right? It shouldn't be up to me or anybody else looking at. It's all, you should do this, you should do that. Oh, hell no. Okay. But it's looking at about being self-reflective during this episode and, throughout your life. What makes it so easy for you to love? You can chime in the comments, down below, and I'd love to hear your feedback and, love to hear what's going on. Hey, Tony, good afternoon. Okay. You said you're easy to love. I want to know what makes you easy to love, and also what makes it maybe easy to not love you. And to be honest, right? And getting into, we look at personality aspects. Let's look at that, right? Is somebody, you're easy to love because you're fun loving, you're easy to talk to. It's, you love joking around. You're able to be, compassionate and empathic to your partner. Does that make it easy for you to love? That you can talk about anything, right? Or, are you overly clingy? Are you overly into that other person to where you don't have your own identity? And this cuts across a lot of people, that that person, the person you love or in a relationship or married to, feels like your every emotion is dependent on them. You get me? So it would be, okay, you're listening, right? Let's face it, you're listening, and how you feel, all your emotions about yourself are all dependent on me, right? It's up to me to constantly validate you, to make you feel good about yourself. And if you don't feel good about yourself, it's my fault. And I'm not talking about, let's be real, about bashing you, ripping you apart, being degrading. Oh, hell no. So you look at those aspects, there's a difference between being clingy and being affectionate. I'm affectionate too. Or are you too independent? So what makes it easy for you to love? And talking about your personality, okay? Tony, you mentioned have a good sense of humor. I'm caring, nurturing, and a good provider. Now, I don't know if I'm a good provider or not. I'm not wealthy or whatever, not at all. But I love joking around, Tony. You know this. Definitely caring, nurturing, compassionate, and all this stuff. Smart ass, and I can be blunt at times too, right? And looking at, what about your personality that makes it easy for you to love, right? Are you always defensive? Are you argumentative? Somebody brings up stuff. Are you able to say, you know what, I need to work on that, or, let me check into that? Or is it a simple that you're always ready to fight? You're always ready to argue. You get defensive. That doesn't make it easy to love you. Doesn't make it easy to love a lot of people, right? And how many people ignore all the personality aspects and, forget about that. If we have great sex, it's easy to love you, right? And we're going to get into that in a little bit, right? And there's people, right? Man, we're like best friends, Greg. We talk about anything. We don't get defensive. but there's no intimacy, there's no sex, right? It's easy to love that person, but you know what? There's no desire, there's no passion. And again, it's how you want to live your life and looking at what areas would it make it easier to love you or, your partner. What are some things they could look at? And it's very easy to pick apart, right? Your partners, right? They do this. I do it on a, hear it on a daily basis, right? I get away from what don't you like about each other? Because that's easy. That's like bam, 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 bam. Instead of what do you like or what do you love about your partner? Because sometimes your partner, maybe you don't know what they like about you, right? It depends on the day of the week. So looking at this element about what it is about you that makes it easy to love you. Is it your communication style? Like I said a couple minutes ago, are you easy that you can talk about anything, that you're free flowing, you don't get defensive, you don't get, so guarded and everything. You don't come back with a tit for tat game. You're a great listener, right? And communication style is not only about talking people, right? It's also about listening and being a good listener and being able to be reflective. There we go. See, I go a brain fart. And one thing about me in doing the Art of Relationships show, like a lot of other people out there, they edit, they tape, they make everything perfect. I don't edit, people. What you see is what you get. It's a live show. I don't go back and edit it before it's posted everywhere. Okay. So what you see is what you get. Okay. Good, bad, indifferent. So, and another thing, are you affectionate? Does your partner want you to be affectionate, or are they complaining that you're too, like I said earlier, too clingy, that you're overly affectionate? And is there such a thing? Are there people that look at, openness, vulnerability? One thing I tell people all the time that makes it easy to love people and to get connected in a relationship or marriage or even friendship for that matter is about being open and being vulnerable to that person, that you are safe enough and confident within yourself to be open with them and expressive. And there's so many couples I've had over the couple of decades that they complain about, man, I'm an open book, Greg, but he isn't, she isn't. She's very guarded. I have to keep pulling stuff out of her or out of him. And they're not very open. They're not very vulnerable. They don't let me in. I feel like I'm always, at arm's length with my person. And I don't feel like we could be a lot more connected if she was a lot more open and a lot more vulnerable and real and expressive. So would that make you a lot easier to love and to, let's face it, to be able to go after feeling more in depth and feeling more real and connected with your partner? Again, it's not a right or wrong. It's going after what would help. Hey, Urban. Hey, what's up? Someone, I'm friendly, outgoing, easy to talk with, genuine, honest, and so on. And how many people say that? But then, you know what? And I'm not saying you're not, Urban, not at all. Excuse me. But how many people, you say you're this thing, right? You're open, you're friendly, you're funny, genuine, honest. And then if you asked your partner or maybe a prior partner, maybe friends, family member, is this person this? Are they honest? Are they trustworthy? Are they funny? Are they easy to talk with? And what if that partner, a lot of people say, well, they're really not easy to talk to. They get defensive. And then you say, oh, that's bullshit. I'm not, they just proved their point, right? So it's about doing a reflection piece and asking your partner or asking people around you, you know what would make it easier to love me, easier to like me as a person? And can you take that and would you be able to go after it and to be able to learn and evolve and grow? And I don't want people to be someone they're not. I don't want people to be a puppet. Okay. I don't want people to be a puppet to everybody. And, oh, you have to do whatever, like a people pleaser or the human giver syndrome. That Emily Nagoski sort of tagged that word a while ago. to be a people pleaser and you don't have a sense of yourself, right? And that's part of maybe it makes it easy to love you because you are independent. You have your own identity, that you're a lot more comfortable in your own skin, in your own identity, and you're not a puppet. Maybe that's it. Maybe it makes it too easy not to love you because you're always dependent on that other person, meaning that I'll do whatever you want, right? Oh, I like whatever you want. Ugh, you get me? It's about having your own sense of identity, your own sense of purpose. And a lot of people are easier to love when you have that, when you have more of a maybe your own purpose in life and what you like, your own passions, your own philosophies. And it's not about clashing, it's about that you have your own sense of self. That's a big thing. What about confidence? It's a lot easier to love somebody when they have confidence. We're not talking arrogance, okay, or narcissism, not at all. But if they have confidence and they like themselves, maybe they have a little swag going back and forth, and that goes for women too, not just the men out there, that they have that confidence, they like themselves, and they're not going to allow someone to manipulate them. They're not going to allow someone to rip them apart and degrade them. They have self-respect and they have that self-love. Would it be a lot easier to love somebody that has that versus someone that is about, yes, dear, whatever you want. I like what you want. Which person, and again, that's different to everybody. It's not, it's very subjective. And Tony, I don't know if I should say this, but he put it up there. Yeah, I love my wife's ass, about compliments and what you love. That's about physical attributes, right? And they could be. I haven't got into the physical aspects yet about, what makes it easy to love about you. Is it the physical traits? Maybe we'll go there, Tony, right now. Okay. What about, is it about the physical traits that make it easy to love? Some people, oh man, I love the way they look. They're attractive. They're this, they're that. They're like Tony said, he loves his wife's ass. Are you, is it make it easy to love because of my body? But then when they open their mouth, what happens, right? And we know as we age, right? Do we stay in shape? Maybe we're dedicated to looking good and feeling better about ourselves. And that makes us more attractive, more easy to love for a partner. In the physical aspects, yeah, it can be, oh my God, you look attractive, you look sexy, you look hot. But also, is it a combination of how you look that makes you easy to love? But what if you're an asshole? What if you are not a good person? You're mean, you're rude, you're cold, right? That you're not caring, you're not compassionate, you're selfish, but you look great. Would that make it easy for somebody to love you? Or would that be unhealthy if somebody loved you and you're that type of person, right? I'd love to hear those elements, whatever. Is it easy to love you because you love kids, you love animals, you love pets? Or maybe somebody that hates kids, hates animals, and they're still easy to love. Again, it's very subjective. Okay. I want to go after about, what other avenues, and I'd love to hear this about looking at what else makes it easy for you to love. Is it how you treat other people? Let's be honest, okay? That you're compassionate, that you care about other people, and you're not, you see someone, you want to help maybe a homeless person, right? You want to give them food, a blanket, clothes, that type of situation. And it is where someone else is ripping and degrading that homeless person and ripping them apart. And you're like, dang, really? That you sort of lose that respect for that person because they're not that nice of a person. They don't have a lot of compassion for other people. In looking at what traits do you find attractive in other people? And is that a total opposite of what you are, or is it a mirror image of you? I'd love it for you to be able to write down, get out a piece of paper, old school, or text yourself or on your computer app, whatever, open up your Word. What do you want? A processor. There we go. And, type yourself, write out what are things that make it easy for you to love. And now would you be open and honest about asking your partner, asking your friends if you're not in a relationship, do you see these things in me? Well, and are they going to be honest with you, right? Or are they afraid to hurt your feelings because they know you're going to react? You're going to get defensive. You're going to get mean. You're going to get mad at them. I am not that way. Really? You think? Instead of saying, really, you think so? Man, maybe I need to work on that. Would you be able to do that? Or are you able, do you rip each other apart when it comes down to, you know, that type of aspect, okay? About hearing each other's truth. I talked about communication styles, right? Can you talk about anything? You're reflective in not only talking, but listening. Okay, what about bad habits, right? Are there some habits you have that make it difficult to love you, right? Maybe you pick your nose in public, you pull your underwear out of your crotch, in public, whatever. Maybe your partner, I could care less about it. That's what he does. You thought I'd say she, right? Or that's what she does. Oh, well, no big deal. Maybe your partner farts in public, that type of thing. Maybe your bad habits are maybe drinking too much. You use drugs, you smoke too much, whatever that means, right? It's about owning, looking at what else makes it harder to love you. But since the theme is about what it makes easy to love you, right? What makes it easy to love you or like you as a person? And we all have bad habits. I do. We all do that type of thing, right? Somebody might be talking to me or I might get annoyed and it's a reflex. And I try to work on this and I have for many years. I'll go, oh God, I roll my eyes, right? Oh, gee, like really? And I try to work on it because it can be very disrespectful to people, right? I don't mean to, I don't want to be disrespectful to people. That type of situation. So what other bad habits? Maybe, it makes it hard to love you because you chew with your mouth full of food, right? It's those type of thing. Maybe you don't clean up after yourself. Maybe you have, a month's worth of dirty laundry, freaking dirty underwear laying in a pile, if they're even make it into a pile in your room, and they're so dirty that they would freaking crawl away on their own, right? They would, your underwear would want to throw their own self in the trash and they're trying to make their way to the trash to throw it out, right? So what other bad habits, it could be hygiene. That could be another bad habit type of thing. But looking at those things, what would enhance people that makes it easier for you to be loved, right? And it's easy to bash yourself. And this is not about bashing, okay? I don't want people to come over, and call me, text me, email me. Oh, Greg's promoting you, about bashing yourself. No, I don't. Not ever. This is about, doing a reflection, a two-part reflection about number one, what is good about you? What makes it easy to love yourself? Because I think a lot of people have a hard time looking at the positives, looking at the good things about you and sort of nurturing yourself with those. And number two, then we can switch to, what are things that you could change? We're talking about bad habits right now. That would be a lot easier to change to like you or love you more. Getting defensive, right? Getting maybe the tit for tat going, that you get mad easily. Maybe a temper aspect. Maybe that's one thing people like or love about you. You're pretty chill, right? That you don't get angry that easily, right? That you take things how they come. And that's one thing people love about you. And the people that have anger challenges, they hate about you because they're not that way, right? So you look at those avenues and those elements, people, and starting to, write them out. Text yourself. What makes it easy for you to love yourself? Are you funny? Do you have a sense of humor, right? I love joking around. I love, laughing and all this stuff, but also maybe you laugh too much. Maybe you joke about everything, right? Maybe when things get uncomfortable and you're talking about an issue that the person has heard about and you joke about it, right? That's not funny to that person. Maybe you have a hard time talking about, people's feelings if they're hurt, especially if you cause it. So you make a joke and it waters it down. that you're able to, oh, yeah, it's so funny, you're this or whatever. And it cuts that person even deep because you have a hard time getting more emotional, more deep, more connected with the individual and how they feel, especially if you caused it, if you're the reason, right? Instead of owning it, you joke about it. You try to belittle how that person feels. That doesn't make it easy for you to be loved. And it doesn't make it easy for people to feel safe with you and connect with you, right? And maybe that's one thing. People feel safe talking to you about anything, right? They can open and, talk to you and they don't feel judged. Maybe that's a great thing about you and makes it easy for you to love. Now, what about boundaries with other people, right? Does it make it easy to love because you're such a giver? You're a people pleaser. You're such a giver, caring, kind, considerate to everybody, but you allow people to take advantage of you. You allow people to use you, manipulate you. And, the one thing they love about you is another thing that might drive somebody nuts and lose respect for you because you don't have boundaries for yourself. It's that level of self respect that is sort of lowered a little bit. And we need to jack that up a little bit to be able to go after and say, hey, you know what? I need to work on this aspect. And I would love myself even more if I set boundaries in my life and to be able to be, set people in their place. That I'm not going to allow people to use me, degrade me, or anything. And if you think about this, people, when you look at yourself and the elements about, what makes it easy for your, and look at other people, does it make it easy for you to like somebody that doesn't have any boundaries for themselves, right? You might get your way, from a people pleaser, right? You might get your way all the time. Yeah, hoo. But are you respecting that person that is allowing you to get away with anything? You start losing respect for that person, right? So that's where I'm going and want you to be a lot more self-reflective to be able to look at those aspects. Someone commented, that is totally me, but I get mad when people take advantage of me. And my question is, I'm going to be honest, right? It sucks. But are you allowing people to take advantage of you? Are you allowing them because, let's face it, you don't want them people mad at you. And it could be friends, family, coworkers. It could be all over the place, right? I don't want my mom mad at me, my brother, sister, coworkers. I don't want anyone mad at me. So I'm just going to shut my mouth and I'm going to allow them to take advantage of me. I'm going to allow them to use me, to disrespect me. And it's like you walk away and you're mad, like the listener mentioned, right? You're mad at yourself. Don't be mad at them for taking advantage of you because you're allowing it, right? And I don't want you to be mad at yourself. I get it. Be frustrated, but I want you to turn that frustration into more of a positive. I don't like this feeling, so I'm going to do something about it. And it's not going to the opposite extreme like a lot of people. I'm never going to let someone take advantage of me again. And then you turn into a mean person. You turn into an ass, right? It going to the other extreme and you start losing compassion and empathy for other people. But there's that balance where you're able to, respect yourself, but also be compassionate to other people where you're able to say no to other people, right? And that's what maybe makes it easy for you to love because you never say no. But then another extreme is it annoys your partner because you never say no to everybody else. And all of a sudden, time, right? Because you don't set boundaries and you don't make your partner a priority. You're so loving and giving, but you are to everybody else, but you're not to your partner. You get me? So maybe you are attentive when you listen. Maybe that makes it easy for you to, be loved. I want you to be able to look at those elements, people, not a bashing. Write down what makes it easy for you to be loved. Look at what accentuates you, what makes you lovable and likable and a great person, okay? And maybe it makes it easy to love too. And Tony brought this up a lot about, sex, right? Maybe you're great at sex. Maybe you're sensual, you're giving sexually, right? You're not selfish sexually. Maybe that makes it easy for you to love. Why wouldn't it, right? So go after those elements and look at what makes it easy for people to love you and for your partner to love you, or a potential romantic interest down the road that would make you a great partner. And also look at what are things that you can change and enhance that makes you even more lovable. No one's perfect, people. I am, a huge advocate of being able to grow and evolve and become better in maybe all facets of my life. That's what I promote. And I want that for myself as well. No one's perfect, but we can always grow and evolve, I think, until we die. Let's face it, right? Sounds morbid, but let's be real. And like I said during the show, I'm not perfect. I do the show live. There's no editing, right? When I post it when it's live on Facebook, YouTube, whatever, this is it. I don't go back and edit it. So when I trip over my tongue, I own it. And maybe that makes me annoying. Maybe that makes me more human and more likable. I don't know. I'd love to hear your comments. And also about, how I can make the show more enjoyable and educational for you out there as well. You can always send me a message, email me at greg@theartofrelationships.org, private message me on YouTube, Facebook, all over the place. Okay. Check out my website, theartofrelationships.org. Catch the Art of Relationships show live, 12 noon Eastern time, every Wednesday, all over the place. YouTube, Facebook. Check out my Facebook page. I'd love it. Like me, follow me. Facebook, Detroit's Love Guru, the Art of Relationships show on YouTube. I appreciate it. Peace and love to everybody out there. I want everybody to take care and be safe out there. Okay.